Good morning. The Friday, May 31st, 2024 regular City of Knoxville Public Officer hearing is called to order at 9:30 a.m. I'm Nicholas Bradshaw, the public officer designated by the mayor as described in the City Code of Ordinances, Article 6, Unfit Buildings, and charged with addressing properties in the city that are out of compliance with the adopted codes of the City of Knoxville. The adopted codes include the 2018 editions of the following international codes: Fire Code, Building Code, Residential Code, Plumbing Code, Mechanical Code, Fuel Gas Code, Existing Building Code, Energy Conservation Code, Swimming Pool and Spa Code, Property Maintenance Code, and the 2017 edition of the National Electric Code. The public officer is authorized to hold hearings, administer oaths and affirmations, examine witnesses, and receive evidence and issue orders as the result of his findings in determining the condition of public buildings that are dangerous, unfit, and injurious to the health and safety of the occupants and/or public. The procedure for the public officer is as follows. Each case will start with a report and presentation of evidence by officers representing various city departments. Today, this will primarily consist of, but is not limited to, evidence presented by Mr. Scott Elder, Neighborhood Codes Enforcement Manager for the City of Knoxville. Mr. Elder is employed by the City of Knoxville and is certified as a property maintenance and housing inspector. Following the city's report and testimony, the owner or owners and/or their legal counsel, as well as any members of the general public, will be given an opportunity to respond. The public officer has the authority to limit this time as per his discretion. Today's agenda will be modified to hear the cases of property owners present at this time and in the order signed up as you entered the hearing room. We make this accommodation to minimize any inconvenience to the owners and members of the public here today. For those actively participating in today's meeting, thank you. Your involvement and active participation is appreciated. All right, as per legal counsel, I need to read the following notice of demolition into the record. Any person who intends to perform work on a structure that the public officer has placed an order against shall first make application to the building official and obtain the required permit. For orders issued by the public officer, please be aware that just obtaining permits and starting rehabilitation of a structure does not invalidate the city's power to take corrective action, such as demolition of a dangerous structure, regardless of the amount of work performed by the owner. All orders are still in effect if the rehabilitation work has not been completed and the structure has not had all final inspections approved within the time provided by the order, or by an extension if one has been granted. Remember, if rehab is not fully complete or an extension is not in place, the structure may be demolished after the order time has expired or after any prior written extension of time has expired without any further notice given to the owner. All right, are there any questions before we start? And all participants are sworn in. All individuals testifying today will need to be sworn in. If you are testifying today, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mrs. Burke, please advise me if any individuals who arrive late need to be sworn in mid-hearing. All right, let's get started with our agenda today. Ms. Burke, what is our first item?
214 Murray Drive.
All right, this house was inspected on March 5th, 2024. The house has been vacant since, best we can tell, approximately early 2022. The house was heavily damaged by a fire in October of last year, 2023, and the remaining structure has not been secured from the elements, and it's missing the majority of the roof. There's one good picture there that you can see. Hey, Joe, that one. You can see the roof is gone there, and it's suffered quite a bit of damage from the weather. The utilities have been removed and the house is in, as you can see, total burned out and water damaged conditions. We're requesting an immediate repair demolition order for this property and its accessory structures.
So you're asking for an immediate order, not a 60, 90, or 120 day repair?
This has been this has been in this condition for some time, and it's vagrants is likely the culprit here.
Is it an immediate repair or demo?
Right.
Okay.
So they'll, if someone engages us and wants to repair that, we will entertain that and work with those folks, certainly. So before we can even, the demolition process takes some time anyway. So it'll be, over 30, 45 days before anything really happens anyway. So, but if someone, I think someone's here, but if someone comes to us and wants to get a building permit to repair it, certainly we'll work with them. But as it stands now, it's an immediate, we feel that it's an immediate threat. It's unsecured and it's been this way for a long time, and someone has gotten in there and burned it down. We've not received any responses to our letters, so that's where we're at with this one.
Okay. There's no one signed up to speak on.
No, someone from the family is here, but just to observe, not to speak.
If I may.
Well, you can come up.
I'll be more than willing to answer the best of my ability on that subject.
Well, there's no dispute of the condition, I gather. Okay. All right. Okay, well, I'll order the owner to repair or demolish the structure at 214 Murray Drive, including the accessory structure and pool. If the owner fails to take corrective action, the structure may be placarded as unfit for human habitation and vacated and closed, and the city may cause the immediate repair or demolition of the building, with the cost of such corrective action being a lien and collected as provided in city code.
Mr. Bradshaw, we need the finding of fact first.
You're exactly right. I do find the structure at 214 Murray Drive, including the accessory structure and pool, is out of compliance with the codes of the city of Knoxville. It is an attractive nuisance and is dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the occupants or public.
Now the order.
And I do, I order what I said before as far as the immediate repair or demolition of that structure at 214 Murray Drive, including accessory structure and the pool. That's sufficient?
Do you have that? Okay.
Excellent. Apologies for that. What is our next item?
The boardings at 901 Knoxville College Drive, 923 Knoxville College Drive, and 927 Knoxville College Drive.
901 Knoxville College Drive, well, the next three are, it's Knoxville College campus. This boarding was done as essentially one project, but there are three different parcels, three different addresses, and each address includes multiple buildings. So for 901 Knoxville College Drive, we're requesting the approval of the boarding charges for the buildings on this property that were completed by May 7th of this year.
My goodness. Okay, well, do I still need to do finding of fact on the boarding to refresh my memory?
We have Leonard Adams on Zoom.
Oh, okay. All right, great.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Leonard Adams, public officer, president at Knoxville College.
Okay, I can hear you, Leonard. Can you hear us?
Yes, very clear.
Okay, well, tell us about this boarding.
Yes, well, thank you for allowing me to speak today. And Scott Elder, thank you for dropping those placards off for us. This boarding was an initiative that was approved through the city to board up additional buildings at Knoxville College that were being that were found unsecured or at risk or a hazard when first responders would come out. We had a few fires that were set by people that was transient on in our abandoned buildings or our blighted structures, and the fire and first responders were having a hard time doing their job because of some of the things that activities that were going on in the building that was not part of Knoxville College's doing. So there were funds allocated for a board up of roughly 7 buildings at Knoxville College, which we consider our interior buildings. We had boarded up our buildings that faced the community and had boarded up these structures as well, but boards were taken off because of the homeless population that was frequently the interior buildings. And so there were dollars awarded from the city to have a vendor come out and secure them first floor and any doors or windows that you could have access to from the outside. That work was done as it was stated early, and that's where we are today. We have been trying to keep our property as secure as possible. We do have security from 6P to 6A. We have a new office building on campus where we work from 9 to 4:30. So we're trying to have activity there, security there to help fight against those individuals that are using our property for bad and not for good. So this is an ongoing thing. As you know, this is 4 years of me as the president here. It's been something that I've had to deal with for the last 4 years. And, I guess I would say thank you to the city for assisting in this. To get this boarded up is not the way that we would wanted it to happen. But as an institution that's trying to restore herself, we just didn't have the dollars to renovate all of these structures at the same time. Last but not least, we are submitting for our accreditation next month, which will hopefully open doors to access to additional funding that we could then start to roll out our 10-year plan to restore the buildings that are being addressed and more. Thank you.
Thank you. And Knoxville College is obviously a historic member of our community and a beautiful property, I think, in Knoxville. I guess as a point of order, these are listed as 3 separate items on the agenda. Is it necessary to do a finding of fact and a boarding affirmation for each of the individual items?
If they're all similar conditions, you can do this one.
Okay. Well, and I'm just verifying on the agenda, it said the boarding was completed on May the 7th, about 3 weeks ago, correct?
Right.
Okay, great. All right, well, I'll say, I find that the structures at 901, 923, and 927 Knoxville College Drive are out of compliance with the codes of the city of Knoxville and attractive nuisance and dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the occupants or public, and will approve the boarding action taken by the city Public Service Department and affirm the charges related to the corrective action for the structures at 901, 923, and 927 Knoxville College Drive. due to the building being an attractive nuisance and dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the community, being open and accessible to children and members of the general public. All right, Ms. Burke, what's our next item?
We're at the top of the agenda at 1201 Forest Avenue.
1201 Forest Avenue, this was most recently inspected on May 1st of 2024. It was found to be vacant and unsecured. The utilities have been removed from this property. The house has become an attractive place for vagrancy and has been boarded by the city multiple times. The house was heavily damaged by a fire in April of 2024 and is in a burned out and water damaged condition, as you can see in these photos here. The city continues to board this property due to repeated break-ins. We've had a lot of trouble out of this property, and a lot of complaints from the neighbors as well. So we're recommending an immediate repair demolition order for this property.
Goodness. All right, well, I find this structure at 1201 Forest Avenue is out of compliance with the codes of the city of Knoxville, an attractive nuisance, and is dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the occupants or public. I order the owner to repair or demolish the structure at 1201 Forest Avenue immediately. If the owner fails to take corrective action, the structure may be placarded as unfit for human habitation and vacated and closed, and the city may cause the immediate repair or demolition of the building, with the cost of such corrective action being a lien and collected as provided in city code. I believe that brings us to our 202 Stone Road.
202 Stone Road, it was inspected on March 21st of 2023 and found to be in violation of the city's property maintenance code. At that time, a 90-day repair order was issued by your predecessor on September 29th, 2023. No repair actions have taken place since that order was issued. The house was heavily damaged recently by a fire on April 26th of this year. And we requested an emergency repair order, and you issued it on April 29th based on these conditions and the conditions on the property. House has become an attractive place for vagrancy and was found to be occupied by 11 people and several dogs during the night of this fire. Utilities have been removed, and the house is in a burned out and water damaged condition completely, as you can see. City continues to board this property up due to repeated break-ins, so we're requesting an immediate a confirmation of the April 29th emergency repair demolition order.
Okay. I recall this got some media attention, did it not? And there was,
It did. There was an arrest made. The neighbors have been complaining about it. Again, we believe the owner's alive, but in a facility, nursing facility, I believe.
One of the dogs had been shot?
Yeah, one of the tenants, one of the folks there on site ended up shooting one of the dogs while the police were there and the fire department. So he was
Pit bull, a dog fighting ring of some kind,
or maybe breeding. They're not sure. I don't think it was ever confirmed to us, but yeah, so there was an arrest and dogs, and folks have been coming back to get their belongings. So it remains a problem. So that's why we're requesting this confirmation of the order.
Right. And what was were there photos of the accessory structure there? I know it's listed, but it's included. Same sort of issue, I assume.
Yeah, it's the complete property. When you take down a primary structure,
Right.
An accessory structure can't remain. So that usually goes with the main structure. The accessory can't exist without the other one.
Right. All right, I affirm the finding that the structure at 202 Stone Road, including the accessory structure, is out of compliance with the codes of the city of Knoxville, an attractive nuisance, and is dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the occupants or public, and I affirm the existing emergency order to repair or demolish the structure at 202 Stone Road, including the accessory. If the owner fails to take corrective action, the city may cause the immediate repair or demolition of the building, with the cost of such emergency repair or demolition being a lien and collected in the same manner as provided in city code. What does that bring us to next?
Boarding at 1201 Forest Avenue.
This was boarded on January 3rd, 2024. It's got two boardings, actually. January 3rd, 2024 and March 3rd, 2024. This are repeated break-ins that I referred to earlier. So we're requesting approval of the boarding charges. Oh, March 28th? Yeah, March 28th.
And it was also boarded on January 3rd.
It was.
All right. And this is the one we just did the order. This is the same property.
Right, there's multiple, yeah, that's the multiple break-ins that I referred
Right,
to. So
okay.
we continue to go out there and do this.
Great. All right, I find the structure at 1201 Forest Avenue is out of compliance with the codes of the city of Knoxville, an attractive nuisance, and is dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the occupants or public, and approve the boarding action taken by the city public service department, and affirm the charges related to the corrective action for the structure at 1201 Forest Avenue due to the building being an attractive nuisance and dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the community, being open and accessible to children and members of the general public. I think that's what's next. Highland.
Yes, 2326 Highland.
2326 Highland was boarded on September 8th, 2023. We're requesting approval of those boarding charges.
All right. Find the structure at 2326 Highland is out of compliance with the codes of the city of Knoxville, an attractive nuisance, and is dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the occupants or public. And I approve the boarding action taken by the city public service department and affirm the charges related to the corrective action for the structure at 2326 Highland Avenue due to the building being an attractive nuisance and dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the community, being open and accessible to children and members of the general public.
And 2137 Major Avenue.
This property was boarded on August 28th, 2023, so we're requesting approval of the boarding charges.
All right. Find the structure at 2137 Major Avenue is out of compliance with the codes of the city of Knoxville, an attractive nuisance, and is dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the occupants or public. And I approve the boarding action taken by the city public service department and affirm the charges related to the corrective action for the structure at 2137 Major Avenue due to the building being an attractive nuisance and dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the community, being open and accessible to children and members of the general public. Is there any other business? Being no other business brought before the public officer on this day, the hearing is adjourned at 9:54 a.m. Thank you.
Recording stopped.